Wisconsin River Falls Esports League of Legends. I am joined here by Gavin once again as your wonderful commentators and caster. Gavin, what do we have in store this game? Who are we up against?
We're up against University of North Dakota today, and it's looking like an overall pretty even matchup, especially on the ADC side. We've got some strong contenders here with Enchanting on River Falls, and then who is that? King Caterwall for North Dakota. So I'm ready. We're gearing up. We don't get to chat too much here about our champ picks before we get right into the game, right into some bruisers, and right into a great series for you here tonight.
Yeah, we started a little bit late with production, so we didn't quite get to see the bans. We don't know exactly what kind of target bans came out. I'm assuming that Skarner was off the table from one of these teams. Otherwise, we know that Frigidly is really, really comfortable on that Skarner. Otherwise, they must have the assumption. Maybe this is something inside the coach's mind. He would know better than we do. On the Amumu synergy with this team, probably just locking down with the Silas, as well as the Polymorph coming from Erie. You know, there's a lot of different ways that this draft could go, but we can always start at just the top, like we always do. The Raven Hood Malphite. We've seen him on this pick before. It went well in the early game. He actually got 2 solo kills, I believe, in the last series against it was a Shen top, although I don't believe that was the Malphite game, and then it was a...
man.
Oh, Rats.
All I know is he hit level 6. Yes.
That's exactly who it was. Imagine 1v1ing a Mordekaiser not once, but twice as Malphite. Unfortunately, the game kind of steamrolled after that, and River Falls ended up taking home the L at the end of that, but it was nonetheless very, very well played by Raven Hood. So I'm excited to see his Malphite plays this time. Ornn is a little bit more difficult of a matchup, especially Grassborn, because of just the sheer tankiness and honestly sustain that Ornn has.
Yep.
But Malphite can counteract that if played mechanically properly, so we'll see what Raven Hood has to pull out here. Yeah. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, we're getting a little bit more of a skirmish. Caterwall brought down to about a 4th HP from Erie and Enchanting. And we got a really, really dominant lead right now into the bottom lane from River Falls.
And it's been this sort of matchup in every single lane so far. We have lower health bars. We have a lot of tussling, so it's going to be an action-packed game from what we're seeing right now. And earlier, Arrow Hunter was pushing up Gator almost under their turret and had him on the ropes, but it looks like we pop to pot. We're ready to go. They've both got teleport here on mid and top, so we've got easy bags if they choose to recall.
That is very true. Now, I don't want to give away the Magician's Code or anything, but we actually did see a scrim or two from River Falls, and I just want to say that Arrow Hunter on this Silas has been a formidable opponent against many teams. It's just a matter of his positioning in the team fights that we're going to have to see if we've gotten any improvement on. Otherwise, the mechanical skill is always there for Aaron. We always know that he's, especially when he's back last year in the top lane, very, very formidable in the 1v1. So it's very interesting to see him up against a range character like Gator on the Syndra, because you would immediately assume that the range character is going to out-damage Arrow Hunter. He's just going to space properly, but it automatically seems, even though that Arrow Hunter's at a health deficit, he is running Electrocute. So these trades can go his way very, very easily. I'm very excited to see what the mid lane has in store for us this game.
I'm especially excited to see how he uses his positioning and how he kind of controls the Rift, because we know he's a very aggressive player, and last season, since he was on top lane, he was more or less on top lane. Whereas now he's in mid lane, he has an easy access to bot lane and an easy access to top lane, easy access to Drakes. So I'm super interested to see where we'll see him on the map throughout the game, where he's going to position himself, seeing where he's going to go for a pick and help his bot lanes, help his top lane, and obviously with those objectives.
Yeah, moving off a draft now, we're going to go back into the meta game here. Looks like North Dakota is setting up for the Drake that they are. 3 members take the Cloud Drake. No response from River Falls, but as I am saying that, a flash comes out from Frigidly. A great stun. The grapple lands right onto the Syndra player.
And he
lives!
Arrow
Hunter.
And he lives with a slim slice of HP.
Oh my gosh, not only burning the flash of Gator, but securing that kill and his own life. Beautifully executed, and a great answer from River Falls in the mid lane. Now, Frigidly should be able to set up for these grubs, hopefully uncontested.
Frigidly is spotted, though, by the Sejuani and by the Ornn. Malphite, Raven Hood just on top lane, getting his wave. He's got some sights. Frigidly is reporting up, seeing if they're going to go in, stay back. Maybe Frigidly's going to try for a steal here, which looks like he might be doing. He might be looking for a top lane gank, maybe pull Sejuani off the grubs. Or get a response in case they take them.
Yeah, Syndra seems to be hovering around the grubs as well. I'm not sure if Arrow Hunter has called this out yet, or if
They've
it's going
switched
to be a
positions.
This might be a strict 2v3 here. Let's see if
Big
UWRF
ulti
can one-shot this Ornn in time before the cavalry arrives. The answer is yes, they take him out, but at what cost? A huge amount of damage coming through from Gator on that Syndra. The ultimate pops fly off, and now Count Von Count is trying to hunt down these remaining players, but Arrow Hunter is here, steals Sejuani out, throws it wide, and picks up another kill. This is exactly why we were complimenting Arrow Hunter in the beginning of the game. He just seems to be everywhere following up on the map and brings this back into an even game for River Falls.
That rotation is so powerful, and especially with Silas in that range that he has, and the ability to just steal that Sejuani ult, use it back on her. She's not going anywhere. It's not like he really needed to stop her, as he's got his own pull in and stun. But that was just, brush it off the hands. That was pretty easy exchange for him to keep it pretty much even in that fight.
You can definitely see the mechanics come out from Arrow Hunter here as he landed not one but two skill shots rapid fire across the wall onto a Sejuani, which had the dash up, might I add. So it's just crazy to see this come out. Unfortunately, couldn't secure the attack on Gator, but, you'll take 2 for 2 in that instance. Unfortunately, Ravenhood and Fridgley just got absolutely decimated by a huge amount of Cinder damage, and I think that's why we're probably going to be seeing Merc treads on this Malphite relatively soon.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's interesting to see how Ravenhood plays these top lane matchups, because he does want to play pretty conserved. He does want to play pretty aggressively, especially now since Fridgley is pushing up, and he's got the double bandage, double stunned, and Malphite slowing him and slamming him down, and they're just about crying him to death on top lane.
The tick damage from the scattered ashes, as well as the E, or rather the W, from Fridgley secures that kill in the top lane. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, Enchanting having to flash away at 1 health. Is he able to get away? She does get the reset on the bounce. Great job by her on the Tristana. That is what we were talking about with the mechanics from River Falls. They will trade a kill here and there, but in the end, they're happier for it.
Absolutely incredible resets on those W's. You cannot get any more frame perfect than that.
1 sliver of health, too. And Arrow Hunter, we were just talking, now stole the Syndra ult and rotating back down to help his team catch that wave and win that team fight.
And where they may be lacking in 2 Void Grubs, it looks like, well, at least 1 Void Grub and 1 Drake, River Falls is making up with double kills here. And Ravenhood's being pushed up on this Ornn.
Yeah, unfortunately, Ravenhood, after being a level up, he does have to be careful because Pat does have item advantage on him currently. He does have a back and a higher CS, so he does have more gold in that pocket. And Ornn scales a little bit better during these mid-range levels up to level 11 compared to Malphite, just does a little bit more damage. So we have to be really careful here, Ravenhood. He might have to expend the ult. He does. And as you were saying just last week, that is the worst feeling in the world for a Malphite player.
It's unfortunate. There's just such a long cooldown on that, such strong inting ability to keep you alive. And we are under the turret here, and Enchanting is here. The W was expended to get right into the hands of the Sejuani. I don't think she can get anywhere here, unfortunately. They're going to maybe peel away, and I guess it's a 2v2, as pretty much everybody from North Dakota is on the bot lane.
Yeah, an unfortunate misplay and a lack of vision from the side of River Falls. A very rare one, and that brings North Dakota back into this game. However, on the other side of the map, Fridgley is going to pick up the Scuttle Crab and hopefully move to make a play in the top or mid lanes to try and make up for this play. We do know that River Falls, whenever they get into these weird tilting skirmishes where it might not sell the entire game, but they drop 1 or 2 kills by trying to attempt a tower dive, didn't have vision on where the jungler was, maybe mid was rotating while Arrow Hunter was back in the base, any number of possibilities. We always know them as they want to answer that with fire. And this is exactly what we're about to see right now with Fridgley just running down the bot lane. Bandage toss does go wide, misses J-Phil by a metric hair, but the pressure is still going to be there nonetheless. Meanwhile, back into the top lane, we were just talking about how Ravenhood could be in trouble from this Ornn as he outscales. Ravenhood getting away. He does have the speed boost from the Q. We were just talking about how slippery this Malphite could be. Fails on the trade against Pat, but does take a plate. And he does have TP upcoming relatively soon, so Pat will have TP advantage on Ravenhood, but Ravenhood still should be able to catch this wave and keep that CS level at least maintainable.
I want to talk about Eerie for a second. I want to talk about how on point his shields have been looking so far. We haven't seen a whole lot since our autocam observer has been mainly on top lane and mid lane, and wherever Arrow Hunter is at the time. But
he's out of production,
right? But as he's rotating right now up towards mid and back towards bot, as Enchanting is running for her life. There are 2 full health bot laners running at her. We've seen pretty on-point shields from Eerie so far. As oh my gosh, Fridley is running into this. We got an Enchanting following up with an E or a W, excuse me, and then that bomb comes down just about able to feed that kill right on over to Enchanting, put some money in her pockets, and they are just laying in there. They're not done quite yet. Fridley might have lost his life, but it's all for naught, and there is Eerie with the shield. He's going to, yep, I did my job as a support, an assist right for me. I'll take that to the bank. And he's just right place, right time. That shield already is so powerful, and I just, as I've been trying to allude to for the past few minutes, I saw a single shot that was just so perfect. A big shot was coming in from, I believe it was a Jinx, maybe a Scout Pistol or something, right before it hit Enchanting. Boom, shield comes up, and it comes right back down as it basically expelled all of that shield damage. So it was just perfect timing.
Oh, we have an Ornn ultimate. Which Ornn is it going to come through? It's actually from the Sylas, who stole the Ornn Horn. Another Ornn Horn, counter Ornn Horn, going back onto Arrow Hunter, but none of the follow-up is there from Gator or Count. So they're going to have to back off of that one. North Dakota stealing the grubs away right out from River Falls' nose and not picking up a kill afterwards. Going back to that bottom lane fight, I couldn't highlight it better than what you did. Eerie coming out of the bush, and you know that Caterwall is a little tilted after that one. Would have won the 1v1, especially with the Jinx passive. But once that shield came out of that brush from that little Yordle, he automatically knew that his fate was sealed. He was like, is Enchanting running barrier? What the heck happened? Oh, it's a Yordle, of course.
Yep.
That's exactly how this would go for me.
It's those tricky Yordles, man. And you know what? Eerie is going to put an Ardent Sensor into his pocket, and that's one of the great things about building an Enchanting support, an Enchanting mage range support against somebody like Mel, who I'm kind of seeing is just going to be more damage mage support, which, let's be real, I won't get into it. Okay, anyway, Enchanting is here. Enchanting is in the fray. Oh my goodness, and Eerie's just there to back her up.
We have a TP coming through from the Syndra player, but it might be too late. That is a waste of a TP from North Dakota. Unfortunate placement from Gator. And now, River Falls Arrow Hunter should be able to walk up mid for free and be able to catch this wave. In fact, he's going to TP and hopefully push in this
coming
turret.
in and catching out this Gator as there's two recalls are going. The Mel stops the recall to get 2 stuns in, but that's just not enough. And the shot from the Enchanting ultimate goes wide, but she's able to rocket jump right under turret and grab that for us.
Ooh. Super Mega Death Rocket hits Eerie instead of Fridley blocking one for the boys on that fat mini Yordle. And like I was saying earlier, Arrow Hunter just gets free tempo in mid lane. This is exactly what I was talking about. They're playing the macro perfectly. Syndra TP's bot. We can play this slow. We can kite it out. Sejuani loses vision. Sejuani's back. He does get a nice ulti, but unfortunately there's not a lot of follow-up damage. He did not do it in turret yet, but I think it was just mainly to clear the minions.
For sure.
But as I was saying earlier, I also want to give, I'm giving so many shout-outs right now. Both teams are playing very well, but UWRF, this is something we have not seen from them yet this season. We talked about this last week. We're excited for them to wake up on their new roles, and I'm really happy on what I'm seeing right now. Fridley, especially on this Amumu, we rarely get to see him play it, but the bandage toss discipline is something I really want to highlight. In case you don't understand how J-Phil's Mel deflect works, I believe it's the W. It can deflect any projectile. That includes Amumu stuns, the bandage toss. So he could have sent that stun right back to Fridley. Fridley is able to time these out and wait and just sits on the Mel following her, not stunning her for the rest of his team. He waits until that barrier comes through, and then bandage toss, ult, waits for the ult stun to wear off, and then bandage tosses again.
Oh my gosh,
beautiful
this is so
mechanics,
aggressive.
and another display of incredible mechanics on the mid lane. Gator brought down to 1 health in a flash like that from Arrow Hunter. What are we seeing right now? Another skirmish in the bot lane is Enchanting with another very aggressive rocket jump. Not able to get the reset, ended up just clearing the minions. Now Eerie taking off some pieces of his own.
I wish we could stop for a second and just replay what happened with that Arrow Hunter engage, because Gator was at, I don't know, maybe 75% plus HP.
Very high health.
Arrow Hunter basically at 25% when he goes in. He has the Sejuani ult that he needs to use that he's stolen. He uses that on Gator, jumps into her, and just grapples. Grapples heals so much back, and by the time that exchange is over, Gator's at less than 25% HP. Arrow Hunter pretty much at the same exact HP as when he went in.
Yeah, unfortunately, as we were complimenting the man, the myth, the legend himself, Arrow Hunter, he does die to an unfortunate Syndra stun. They were both very low health. I just think he miscalculated the math a bit on that one and how much he could do. But a shutdown going to Syndra, this could go very wrong for River Falls very fast. That is a good shutdown to have on your mid laner.
I think both were looking for a recall there, and Arrow Hunter saw, I believe, Gator start recalling first. they were gonna recall, but Arrow Hunter figured he'd stay in lane, and I guess Gators figured they'd stay in lane because he saw Arrow Hunter in there. So it was a pretty easy pickup for the ranged mage, especially with all that CC and just a pushback if Arrow Hunter decides to come in.
Now we're going to see a little bit of a lane swap from both sides. Caterwall and J-Phil matching Eerie and Enchanting here in the mid lane. They might be rotating down right now. Fridgley trying to steal this Drake out. Let's see if the Mel can snap some vision right now on this Amumu.
Ravenhood looking pretty even, as much as he can be here, while this Ornn is dominating the lane with the amount of just area control he has.
Absolutely. Chemtech Drake does go over to River Falls. Arrow Hunter now jumps onto Gator. Ooh. This is not where you want to be for the Syndra player in melee range without a turret.
Beautiful.
For the Silas. And Arrow Hunter cleaves through the mid laner of Gator, securing him another kill, bringing the scoreline to 4-1.
Very well executed there by Arrow Hunter, and that is just exactly what we love to see. And this Silas, if you've seen Arrow Hunter, if you've been with us to watch Arrow Hunter play on every lane that he has played, this Silas just makes such a perfect sense pick for us.
Absolutely. We even saw Arrow Hunter, I believe, in Jungle one of these semesters, which even those mechanics, it was absolutely insane to see. You can kind of see the jungle coming out now as he's rotating from mid now that I'm bringing it up. Enchanting with a very aggressive, as we were saying, rocket jump into the entire enemy team. Fridgley with that great bandage toss. That's exactly what I was talking about with the bandage toss discipline. A double R for the Amumu player and a double kill for River Falls.
That was both ults by Fridgley and Eerie, as Fridgley perfectly executed, just dives right onto the verge of the tower, so he's able to pop in, ult, stun both, run away, take 1 or 2 tower shots, but he's got Eerie there to shield him up, and Eerie actually ulted him to keep him alive for longer, and he's going to actually be able to take Rift Herald, it looks like, out of this.
I think this might be a good turret for River Falls. Yeah, Count Von Count can't do anything here with the Sejuani wave clears, so that's just going to be a free tower for Enchanting and more gold on the enemy top laner for North Dakota. You got to be scared if you're on the blue side here.
You do, and I'm looking at support here, and I'm looking that Eerie is about an item and a half. Granted, he's building actual support items here, whereas Mel is building like actual mage items. So obviously those items are going to be a little bit differential in cost, but Mel, can't really say what Mel's building at this point. Lost Chapter builds into a lot of things, but Eerie building this cheaper Ardent Sensor, able to boost the attack speeds of anything that they heal or shield, is going to be really powerful, especially when you have a cannon crazed Tristana jumping at every single point, and it looks like we're just jumping immediately into int.
The only time we've ever seen her use the rocket jump out of combat was only after she got the reset. Nope. Every single initial use was to get into a fight, and they just keep winning.
It is beautiful to see. We absolutely love seeing this.
Yeah, might I add, off of the Enchanting, as long as we're just going to be talking about the ADCs, Caterwall and Enchanting are supposedly, as of LP and ranked, are the highest rated players on each team. So this is mainly just a series of which bot lane ADC can carry even more than the other. And right now, it seems to be a very definitive answer.
Yep, and you can't do it without your support. As much as you wanna love the ADC, I gotta rep for the support players.
As a support main in the chair next to me, I always forget. He's like, "Well, don't forget about this." No.
I mean, Eerie's
Wiggles
there.
That little finger.
Eerie's there.
I'm not discrediting Eerie. Those shields. We already talked about that initial 1v1 where Caterwall actually would have won against Enchanting, if not for the shield from Eerie last second.
A top lane push. They're looking to secure this tower, and Ravenhood he's a barking dog on that leash. He's on that turret. He does have his ultimate. It looks like he's going to take the defensive measures and ult. Honestly, smart. Especially, I don't think he saw that Sejuani coming up, but he figured maybe I better just get out now. Very smart play, by the way. I absolutely love to see that.
No, brilliant play. I think this is what we were talking about River Falls last week as well, as their communication. And I think this is really great. I believe Ravenhood must have called it Super Mega Death Rocket isn't going to hit anything except Fridgley's butt on the way out, but he's just going to eat some fruits and, clear that right up. This is exactly what we were talking about with the communication aspect. He calls out that there are at least 3 members in the top lane trying to dive me. I'm going to ult away to safety, not even give him a kill. We start Otacon in the bottom lane. Who's going to contest? There's 3 up there in top. If they try to contest with the 2 people in the bottom lane, which I don't even think they were, they just turn. the entire 4 members of River Falls on Otacon just turn on him and get another free double kill. So incredible macro that we're seeing right now. I love this amount of just snowball effect that we see from River Falls. J-Phil uses that deflect. Let's see if anything can go from it. The Ornhorn actually goes huge. The withdraw comes through, and as we're seeing, another Ornhorn from Arrow Hunter gets stolen.
Oh,
a
big
flash
knock, he's
into
going in.
it.
Oh my
J-Phil
God.
flashes into the Ornhorn.
He's not done!
And J-Phil, it just gets absolutely demolished from the chains of this Silas player. Pat, being tanky enough, takes refuge under the turret, but for how much longer? 3 members of River Falls known for their hyper-aggression with Otacon. He is not long for this world.
Absolutely beautiful poke damage here by Eerie, too. As Sejuani was making away with her life for what it seemed, 3 people in front of them at the time, and Eerie just pokes out a little bit of a Q, and that's just enough to kill him.
Tower does go wide. Eerie.
Ooh, the Rift Herald.
Oh, he
coming
popped
in
into
for
the
one.
Rift Herald.
I think he was looking for a knock-up on Gator, actually, during that, and he's got no fear. He's got that extra Otacon refill. He's going to go out with a bang.
I'm not sure if I was just misseeing that or what happened, but when he was riding the Rift Herald, I don't know exactly what wall he hit.
I didn't think you could cancel it. It looked like he canceled it.
I think he must have canceled it with the Orn Q.
I think he was trying to go in to knock up Gator because he was trying to go wide of the turret.
Yeah, but he didn't hit the. I don't know actually. That's a good point. You know what? That's something for somebody with faster eyes like these players would know. And the point is, Arrow Hunter doesn't care because a free 200 gold giving to the enemy from the Otacon is well worth the full turret that you just took with that buff. And Otacons aren't gone yet. Frigely still has it. I believe Ravenhood still has it. Eerie still has it activated. The only people that don't are Enchanting and Arrow Hunter, which kind of stinks when you're the main damage dealers and the ADC, but knowing how aggressive these two are with the support that they have, especially from Eerie's shields, they should be sitting pretty.
And Enchanting versus the Jinx matchup right now, we've got 3 items on Enchanting already at 23 minutes.
I can't wait to see the Super Mega Death Rocket come out from Arrow Hunter. I got to see this. I saw him steal that Jinx ult, and I was like, this is going to be the funniest thing when he just absolutely whips this giant nuke out from his chains.
I'd love to see it, and I mean he's building AP, right? So does Jinx Rockets scale off of AP? Possible?
I'm actually not entirely sure.
I know the Scout Pistol does.
That is true.
I'm like 90% sure it does.
Gator sitting in this bush might be in trouble. Count Von Count is there for the support as
Erie's
well
pushing
as
up.
but Eerie just doesn't care.
I got shield for this.
Sprinting around, I can polymorph whatever I need to. You know, if they want to expend all their ults on the support, be my guest. They're going to raid the blue buff as well. And this game is slowly becoming done and dusted unless River Falls makes an absolutely atrocity of a mistake. I believe they should be able to smooth sail this in. Ravenhood going in with a great ult onto the J-Phil. J-Phil gets polymorphed, is not able to use the W reflect in time.
Oh my God,
going
he's
huge.
done.
The ultimate from oh my gosh, Poppy. The ultimate from Lulu comes through, makes Enchanting absolutely huge. Gives him the quadra kill. Incredible mechanics that we're seeing from both players in the duo lane. And this is the synergy that we were talking about building up from these players. Getting used to each other, understanding each other's mechanics and each other's habits on what we want to go into a fight. Enchanting.
Erie's trying to help Enchanting. Enchanting's looking for this pentakill right now.
He is, but he's taking a lot of tower shots.
Pats
I
is
wonder
under
if
this turret. There it's going to go. There it is.
No, but Fridgley stole it. Oh, no. And Enchanting's taking turret shots, brought down to 1 health. Oh, no.
Fridgley cried too hard. Unfortunate. Oh, and an unfortunate execute by the Mel coming in. Unfortunate timing. Unfortunately, that kill doesn't go to the Jinx. Mel just being there with a little bit of poke that she does and her passive, just being able to execute anything she hits at low health, including minions and players.
That team fight was just absolutely crazy right there in the bottom lane. So many attacks. Oh, they have a ward on this bush. You cannot recall here. A very greedy ward from Eerie. I'm not sure if that's pretty bad for River Falls. Eerie is now down for 35 seconds. They might be looking for a Baron.
That was 111 gold bounty. It looks like, but I just again want to highlight how much Eerie is just turning Enchanting into a tank almost. With the amount of shielding that he's able to provide, this Mikhail's Blessing coming in from Eerie is going to be really powerful as well. And there's going to be a reverse Baron steal, it looks like, maybe from River Falls.
Well, Pat had to flash over the wall, so
huge ulti here from from Ravenhood.
Yeah, Ravenhood does get
and
the knock-up right now.
There
is a lot of damage coming through from Caterwald. You cannot be underestimating this Jinx right now. They tried to take the fight a little too early, and this is what I was talking about. When Eerie dies like that in the bush, you cannot contest Drake until you have all 4 members ready to engage. Unfortunately, the Amumu was also not there, so all all 3 members of the attempted Baron steal members from River Falls fall at the hands of North Dakota. And that is Baron for the blue side.
And what we're going to probably see here from UWRF is they're going to respond with this as fast as they possibly can. They may be trying to focus on kills here to try and take away that Baron buff. Hopefully they keep their cool, they stay connected, they stay collectively together, focus on an objective. Looks like Drake's going to be coming up in a minute here.
I like this Drake
close.
setup, don't get me wrong. I love the idea of setting a Vision in one up. Sitting in the little banana bush, or rather the little side red buff bush is just hilarious to me. Yeah, a weird misread from River Falls. We're not used to them seeing that. I think it was just more of an ego play where, guys, we're too far ahead. We can absolutely 3v5, but they underestimated Caterwall on this Jinx with IE. That's going to be doing a lot of damage. And as I say that, Caterwall is absolutely in the enemy jungle for some reason over there by blue buff and gets jumped on by 4 members of River Falls. So as I was disciplining River Falls for their huge, lack of humility and big egos, Caterwall does the exact same thing, coming off of a high of a triple kill, and now we're swinging back into the favor of River Falls. They're going to be setting up for Soul here. 2
Barons, I believe, maybe 3. It looks like just 2 have been dropped off of North Dakota here so far. And River Falls has just been in the right place, right time. They've got a lot of wards up here as they're taking and securing Baron here, it looks like, as Eerie and Enchanting are sitting in a bush waiting for any foes to come waddling over.
That is going to be Chemtech Soul for River Falls, and if you don't know, Chemtech Soul actually got buffed recently because enough people complained about it, saying that it wasn't a real Dragon Soul for some reason. And I'm not sure what they were talking about, because now Chemtech Soul, it's still a Dragon Soul. You are still more than happy to have it, and with the way that River Falls are playing, and the health differentials in every single fight where they're happy to go in at half health anyway, Chemtech Soul might be one of the best souls for their current team comp, honestly.
And do all Otacons buff Baron Souls? Or is it just one Otacon?
You know what? I don't want to prove my ignorance right now, so I'm just going to say you figure it out.
All right.
I totally know the
I'm
going to
say yeah. So with the Otacon, take 8 minutes ago, or however many, did we take Otacon at 16 or 20?
Yes.
I believe Otacon was taken at
we
20,
just make up facts.
20 minutes. So about 8 minutes ago, they took that Otacon, and that is exactly what they needed to even buff this Chem Baron, or this Chemtech Soul even more.
Oh, absolutely agreed. Like, all the buffs are swinging into the favor.
Oh,
an early... I don't know what that was from J-Phil, a very early deflect, but
they're just going to jump on
the Ornhorn
her.
didn't even land. A huge jump into the tower, takes out 2 members of North Dakota, but another one is traded back. Actually, Enchanting is also traded back, as well as Arrow Hunter. That is both of the damage dealers from River Falls. Amumu Falls as well. Fridgley going a little bit too deep. That tower damage was also underestimated from River Falls. A really big blunder in the bot lane. The tower was not even taken. The Soul will still be attached to those respawning members, but this gives a lot of tempo for North Dakota.
Soul did just, or Baron buff just fell off of North Dakota here, so they won't be able to push as quickly. Ravenhood is coming back. He's got half of his cooldown still left on his ultimate here, so he won't be able to make quick work of these minions here, but it looks like he's just going to have to back off his Gator, and these minions is just enough to take out that turret. As Eerie is back, he's going to make his tank even more tanky. We'd love to see it. Ravenhood here against the world. He's got a 2v3, and he's going to be right in the front of it.
And there's no need to overextend here. I think both teams are starting to realize that they've both gone in a little bit aggressively now. They're starting to trade leads that didn't need to be traded. Like we said, Chemtech Soul is still on these 3 previously dead players from River Falls, so that is always going to stay on them. It is a permanent buff throughout the game. However, they did lose a lot of tempo in the mid lane, and they did not secure the turret in the bottom lane, so that fight was all for naught. No inhibitors have been taken yet. The tier 3 tower on top lane has been taken from North Dakota. However, Mega Minions are yet to spawn.
I believe that might have been taken, but it has been a while since it has been taken, so it is back up.
River Falls just looking to set up for some vision. I wonder if they're just going to try and...
They've taken so many wards here. I don't know if you've been paying attention.
They're very good at vision clearing.
They've taken about 10 wards in the last 10 minutes, or 1 minute.
No, that I do like
it. Enchanting is going in.
Right in, one-shots Gator. That is the Syndra player down. A huge damage dealer jumps right back in with the Eerie ult. Another kill going in the way of North Dakota. Takes down Chanting. The ADC is now down for River Falls. What are they to do? J-Phil and Gator have been traded, but at what cost? 3v4 favoring River Falls. They're going to be setting up for a bottom play now. This has gone tragic for them before. Will they learn from their mistakes?
That is a high DPS brawler if I've ever seen one from Enchanting.
She did get 2 kills. Sejuani ult is in the hands of Arrow Hunter. Is he going to use it on the Ornhorn? He's going to try and get down and jump back into Caterwall and try to ult in.
They are playing really defensively against their Jinx here on the side of North Dakota. I don't know if you catch it. Fridgley just barely went wide of the bandage toss on Jinx.
I did see that. Oh
and
my
after
gosh.
that, I think Arrow Hunter was looking to try and prismatic or whatever that is, the glacial freeze from Sejuani. Going in. Oh, and Arrow Hunter, there it is, and it comes right back at him. He was looking for that Jinx. That's what it was.
A little ballsy, though, because J-Phil is back and kicking. That deflect on the Mel is nothing to shy away from. It makes Mel as strong as you are, no matter how under-leveled she may be. So, honestly, a weird play from River Falls. They did kind of lose more than they needed to. However, they gained a lot more than could be considered a bad play. You know what I mean? Like, that is still an overall positive play for the red side. And I think they're just going to be setting up for another 5v5, maybe contesting Baron. But it's all about the vision game. This is what we were talking about. This is what we're complimenting River Falls for. They completely warded up the bottom side because they wanted to push bottom. However, all the action is going to be around Baron, around the top now. So we're going to have to see how River Falls can counteract this without any vision.
This is going to be interesting. Arrow Hunter might be trying to pull in early. Fridgley's here. He's going in. He's got the Mel. The Mel was stunned and ulted in. Oh, Ravenhood is there with the big ol' ulti. I believe he got 3 or 4 here. Arrow Hunter stole the Orin ulti for himself. They're just looking for as much CC as they possibly can. And it's a pretty match fight here. Chancing pushes away Caterwall. And that's just enough for the ace to be pulled out. And Eerie, last man standing. Oh my gosh.
That was Eerie.
Wow.
Eerie was the only one to survive that huge fight, the lone little Yordle. Lots of kills going back and forth. The kill feed absolutely exploding. Great flash from Enchanting to secure Caterwall. She did end up trading her life in the end, but at a very, very good opportunity cost, taking down the last remaining player of North Dakota and the ADC. Baron was taken from North Dakota, but all 5 members died, and Baron is not a permanent buff. You do not respawn with Baron. So, in the end of the day, North Dakota, all they got was gold and a missing tier 3 tower.
This might be, correct me if I'm wrong, this might be the quickest game in objective-wise that we've seen from River Falls from all of last semester. We are at 33 minutes. I mean, Erie's got 85 vision score at 33 minutes. That's absolutely insane. And we've seen 4 Drakes. We're just about to see Soul or Elders about to spawn here. 5 Drakes have been taken. About to be 6 as we're gearing up for another team fight here. 2 Barons have been taken. I mean, it's objective after objective here, and they're going to try and look to clear this as fast as possible. It looked like Ridley has maybe Fridgley's even started it. He's going to look to back off as they're trying to maybe bait out a fight or make sure that they can secure it. And oh my gosh, it's a big flash in by Arrow Hunter. It looks like a flash for a flash, but Gator is defenseless in terms of mobility here. And the Orn ult comes in to try and defend himself. He's got a 4-man knock up here. He's pushing it in. Enchanting is a little worse for wear here, but that doesn't mean much when the oh my gosh, I can't keep up with this.
Yeah, Caterwall is dealing a ton of damage as the Jinx. The Jinx passives are popping. That is a huge amount of movement speed for Caterwall. Caterwall does have the ultimate. The Super Mega Death Rocket could catch Eerie, as Eerie is the last remaining player from River Falls to defend their Nexus, and now they are marching down mid lane. An unfortunate fight for River Falls, as there was just chain CC. The Syndra stun into the Ornhorn killed every member of River Falls, and the little Yordle is left hoping for more.
It is it's a battle of CC, because that's exactly what we saw in the Baron pit just a couple minutes ago. We saw River Falls was taking and using as much CC as they possibly could from North Dakota, and that's exactly what happened in the mid lane. Really strong fight here by River Falls, and Erie's going to try and push back that Jinx. He's just barely not going to be able to grab it in his Jinx. Caterwall will pick up that ultimate, or that ace, and a really good turnaround here by North Dakota, and a really good, strong 35-minute games from both sides here.
Honestly, you kind of... There's not really much to say about that game except, wow. A really, really well done showcase from each team's mechanical skill, both showing how they can equally carry the game, and Chancing with those early aggressive plays off the back of Erie's shields, and Caterwall with those ending plays with incredible frontlining and what's the word, spacing between the enemy CC. That was really well done by the Jinx, taking full advantage of that Jinx movement speed passive. Both ADCs showing why they are the cream of the crop on each team.
It looks like Jinx is the only person that, Sejuani got the buffed Thornmail by Ornn. And it looks like Jinx also got the buffed item, and it went to Infinity Edge. And Infinity Edge, I believe it just adds more crit. Just more crit and more damage.
Yep.
Absolutely formidable,
It got
especially on
nerfed
a
a little
Jinx.
bit, but I think it was just the AD that it was nerfed for, so it still does the same amount of crit and higher crit damage. So, nonetheless, IE, yes, still very strong despite what a lot of people think. That's why both ADCs built it. Very, very good showing from both teams. Unfortunately, River Falls couldn't squeak it out. It was just a mishap in that mid lane team fight. Instead of staying onto the Elder and flipping the Elder instead, I think it was just a little bit of an overextension. However, it was also the chain CC that nothing was accounted for. Really well done by Ravenhood trying to go in for the Flash ultimate, trading the Syndra Flash. Sadly, there was just no follow-up.
Yeah, and once that big AoE Malphite stun is gone, like Ornn is there. Ornn's got a 4-man knockup that he just laid out, and that fight was just over the second everybody was up in the air.
Absolutely. However, that is only the first game of the night. We have a series left to play, and River Falls may come out victorious. Maybe they won't. We'll see if it's a repeat of last week or if they can redeem themselves. I think they are showing much better gameplay and much better macro than they did last week. So stay tuned for that. We'll be right back. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to game number 2 of the League of Legends Esports Series with University of Wisconsin River Falls and the University of North Dakota. I'm back again with Gavin. Welcome, welcome.
Glad to be here. Glad to have you as well.
Now let's start talking about the draft before we immediately get a kill on the board right now. These huge kills coming through, enchanting with the first blood on the catapult right now. A huge flash comes through and a double kill for the side of River Falls as J-Phil dies on the Nami. And that is a great start for River Falls, almost 1K gold up already. Goodness gracious, we're not even in. We just started the stream.
We just got here. I like Eerie on the Lulu, and I'm interested to see Enchanting on the Callista.
I feel like seeing that in John Travolta in Pulp Fiction, where he's like,
"What?
What happened? What did I miss in the draft?
I just sat down.
Was there trash talking or something? What led to this level 1 skirmish? Look, okay, so let's start by talking about this first. Now the bottom lane for River Falls is going to be hitting level 2 first. I don't believe after this wave, correct me if I'm wrong, that North Dakota will hit level 2. Oh, they do. Okay, so they do actually hit level 2. I was about to say level 2 advantage is going to go miles in this lane. However, they did pop up double back.
Oh my gosh.
Obviously.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Ravenhood on the Galio. So despite the naming conventions here, UWRF is on the red side again. North Dakota is on the blue side. We've lost our names. We don't know where they went. We just kind of figure out where they are.
It's fine. We know who's who. We do not see Ravenhood on this champion almost ever. And it's really interesting because he is a very good Malphite player, which means he's probably knows this matchup better than Pat does.
That's very true.
Which is very interesting.
I mean, I've seen a lot of crazy Galio plays in recent. Ravenhood is definitely very formidable on the Galio, though. I think I've seen him maybe once or twice on the mid lane, and it's beautiful. And just like we saw in that exchange, he can really lay into him, and especially early. We've seen a lot of ramping picks for Ravenhood, and especially on this Galio, he's going to want to be a little bit more aggressive in the early game, which is not something we typically get to see.
And Wukong is fast clearing, hits level 4 first, walks straight into the mid lane right now, trying to chunk down Enchanting.
And there's Fridgley out of the wall!
Fridgley does come out of the wall, however, the Q goes wide and does not slow any members of North Dakota. A lot of chip damage, though, coming through from Enchanting. Pops that pot and is able to stay in lane for a little bit longer with the Doran's Blade as well. Is going to get all of that health back up, and Wukong's still hovering. He's going to try and maybe go for a flash or an E over the wall.
Oh, he can't W over the wall. It's too thick, buddy. Oh, that's so unfortunate.
We saw that in live time. It's okay, Cal.
Hey, that would have been pretty cool.
We've all played characters like that. Where the
Ravenhood.
miscalculation has gone over the wall, and we end up flashing into the wall or something like that, you know. So it happens to the best of us. Meanwhile, in the top lane, as
the
you already
vision was
mentioned,
beautiful.
Pat running the Grasp Malphite. This is something that Ravenhood is actually opposed to. He usually runs Arcane Comet.
A little bit of poke damage in the early game keeps him up on his toes.
However, that Grasp is not doing him any favors, as he is still 1 HP and is going to have to pop a bad back. He does have teleport, so he will be able to teleport back into the lane. Fridgley barely misses the gank into top lane.
Actually, I want to point that out. Pats was going to go for the Null Magic Mantle really quick just to give him an extra magic resist against this Galio. He decided to swap for Ruby Crystal and a little bit of ability haste, which may be a good pick for him. Maybe he needs a little bit of extra health. He does have the Grasp. He's able to sustain himself in battle a little bit more. He doesn't have a pot anymore. Ravenhood, on the other hand, just got a Cinder.
With the control ward on top of it. I love seeing this, though. Both of the junglers and the top laners understand how important the vision game is against their opposing team. They're reading each other very well. Arrow Hunter now on the Syndra. This is something we can talk about. A lot of not mirror matchups, but
Flips.
Flip matchups. Yeah, that's a really good way of putting it, from each lane. So it's very interesting to see.
Really aggressive side lane push here by UWRF.
Polymorph coming through so that, rather, Caterwall does not have anything to answer back with in terms of damage. Both brought down to about 3/4 health.
Can't take any of the CS either.
No, none of that. That's the bad part about
here comes
Fridgley. The suppression moves the enemy mid laner. Gator gets absolutely chomped down in the jaws of Arrow Hunter. But the kill goes over to Fridgley instead. I don't think that was intentional. He just has a Giant's Belt, not a huge damage item. But
absolutely beautiful.
A kill and an assist is still a kill and an assist.
If he can get an early heart steal, that would be so beautiful for him, especially as we see him play out these games on Skarner. He's right in the middle of the fray. If he has anything that he wants more, it's more health, it's more sustain, just like what this Malphite is going for. But if we can get an early heart steal, because it is an expensive item, especially for a jungler who is typically more in the half support role, where he's kind of just in the front line to front and do some CC, and then typically be the first one to die, first one to into the fight here.
Fridgley can play this a lot of waves. The bubble goes wide, actually hits the stun onto Eerie. Eerie now may be in trouble. Calista's trying to help out his boy as much as he can, poking down a lot of damage, taking damage from
Enchanting
all
is
three
going
members,
all in.
But he understands the mathematics of his damage. The Wukong trying to get the frag.
The mission hasn't been completed. They're still leaving.
Oh my God! What a hype moment from the bottom lane of River Falls. Nobody dies on the blue side with 3 graves dug for North Dakota. An absolute tragedy on the side of the blue team.
That I can't believe it. There was dashes and there was movement, and Eerie flashed so he could heal Enchanting or shield Enchanting.
The flash shield was nuts.
Crazy.
To counteract Count's flash for the Wukong W, that was absolutely insane.
Yeah, that was Wukong that flash. So Wukong flashed to rush after Enchanting, and
it was
Eerie
a counter flash from Eerie
to rush after Enchanting.
Oh my gosh, how good is Enchanting?
That was beautiful.
On this Callista, we are seeing some crazy masterclass right here. This is why we were talking about how good the ADCs are, especially the River Falls ADC. Able to hold the flash as well. Enchanting didn't flash at all.
That's movement.
That's crazy.
That is movement if I've ever seen it.
That is the passive for Callista after every auto attack, and I believe ability, you actually have a small dash, kind of similar to Ambessa. So she was able to get that movement out very, very quickly. However, the Wukong flash would have killed if Eerie wasn't there to save his boy.
That was just grade A quality from River Falls. We're up 6 kills to 0 at 8 minutes. That's almost a kill a minute.
This is absurd.
Since minions have been here, it's pretty much been 1 kill a minute. And then we're up 3K gold almost on the side of River Falls. And Ravenhood winning this tussle.
Still bullying, and notice how Malphite still hasn't able to pop it back because of the teleport disadvantage. Ravenhood did end up teleporting, but only after he was able to back and get a regen bead as well as a tier 1 boot.
And he's been able to greed a little bit in terms of damage, whereas Malphite is keeping up with the CS. So they have a really equal matchup when you come in terms of stats. Wow.
One more auto
One
attack would have
more.
done it in, but Arrow Hunter wanted to back off. He did not want to try and throw the mid lane yet again. We might get a tower dive
Oh,
here from
here's
Fridgley going through the
Fridgley.
wall. The suppression does not land, but the airborne does. A huge knockout from River Falls. The Callista ult comes out to save Eerie, but a
Oh
huge
my
tower
god,
shot
the
lands
spear
on the
throw and the
Callista.
shield comes in, and Eerie should not be alive.
Eerie was Callista ulted, so was able to live for a tad bit longer than necessary. However, a lot of tower shots going on to River Falls.
Woo.
The bubble does not land and stun the Callista player. A big trade coming out from the bot lane, but no kills were sent back either way.
Unfortunately for a double board in that bush is really unfortunate. That movement. That movement from Callista is so powerful against Nami. If Enchanting plays the cards right and sees those bubbles, and Raven Hood is trying to get out of here with his life. His dash was unfortunately
no.
blocked as the Wukong was in front of him, and those double knocks up, and he's not going down with too much of a fight. I mean, he's walking away, but in that walk away, he's just showing how much of an absolute beast Galio is, and that is what North Dakota was really looking for, to kind of gear up and say, yeah, we're still in this fight. We got you. Here is one of your links. We're taking a kill, and we're putting it onto our jungler. Malphite's going to grab the support, or this, the support and the plate. The assist going in his pockets, his plate gold going in his pockets, and towards the Wukong. Looks like Wukong's still here. They're going to grab 2 plates here, just about.
Arrow Hunter's
that'll
actually
put
moving up for a small gank here, but that was just unfortunate for Raven Hood. There's nothing much else to say there. And it's kind of I don't want to say an okay death, but it's not a horrible death because River Falls was able to capitalize. And,
oh,
wow.
It's so
Lots
close.
of damage
Finish it
coming
off,
through.
Arrow Hunter.
Galio all comes through.
The big
knocks
stun.
up.
Was that?
What?
That was Arrow
on
Hunter.
the very small edge.
That was Arrow Hunter. Arrow Hunter finished that out.
With
I
a
have no idea
Syndra?
how he was in range to do that.
The Victor's stun does go wide. The Victor
Oh, the
ultimate
double
is doing a
stun.
lot of damage right now, putting in a lot of work. However, this Galio does have a Spectral Shade. He has a lot of health coming through. The taunt lands onto the
All
Victor
those
player.
abilities are
Victor,
gone.
not being a movement champion, has to outrun this incredibly already CS-fed Galio. Is able to dive under the turret for a little bit longer, but at a 4th HP. And that is just one heck of a team fight right now. Going back to the very, very beginning of it.
Fridgley's looking maybe for something. He's right around the corner.
Tower dive. I think
Okay,
he's just
going
going to set
for
up for grubs
going
right
for
now.
the objectives here.
Meanwhile, like I said, in the bottom lane, the dragon was taken, so it was okay for Raven Hood, but it was just an unfortunate set of timing because his E got blocked from the Wukong clone, and then his flash got blocked from the Wukong just slowing him in general. He got flashed and then slowed and then tried to E and got blocked. This might be an execute, actually.
That is a little interesting.
Oh, an execute.
I thought there was a flash
No.
out or a little splash damage done by Arrow Hunter. You hate to see it.
No kill for the Syndra player.
They'll lose a lot of time and a lot of tempo, I think, on that Jinx, though, unfortunately.
Well, Caterwall does have 3 seconds left on respawn. No TP at their disposal, so it's going to be entirely up
It looks
to
like
the enemy mid
Victor.
laner as Gator is trying to catch this wave right now. Actually, pretty good macro play from North Dakota, and now
Big steal,
good
Fridgley.
smite.
Love to see it, Fridgley.
Now he's just going to
Absolutely
be taking the
beautiful.
1v1. I don't know if he understands that Galio is not really in range to
Oh
help
my
him,
gosh.
because the Galio
We're
ultimate
aggressive
is
on
not
all
up.
sides.
There is going to be some aggression in the bottom lane. Enchanting takes out
Oh,
the
you gotta
Victor
get out
player,
of
but
there.
There's going to be a huge Nami ult that knocks up Eerie. Eerie pops the ultimate on himself. Then there's a
Oh my
big
gosh.
Lulu sitting into the lane. A lot of damage coming down from Enchanting now, and the enemy bottom laner is trying to just run away. Huge amount of spears going through. The Rend hits and damages Caterwall down to the very core. A good trade from the bottom lane, trading into a single kill for River Falls.
River Falls did not have to get out of that fight. Caterwall, J-Phil on North Dakota had to get out of that fight. That was a crazy turn. And the stun coming up from Arrow Hunter under the turret on this Wukong just about almost
the
finishes
clone
him
out.
off. The clone is just enough to save him. That is beautifully played here by Arrow Hunter as he's defending his right to take that turret.
Yeah, Victor should get here in time to cover the wave. However, Raven Hood really does need it back. He has a lot of gold in pocket, hasn't been able to back since he got that Spectre. I think he's just going to wait until this wave crashes and then use his TP for said back and able to maintain the tempo.
Oh my gosh.
Gator's actually looking for a little bit of a trade right now. Half health's Arrow Hunter, but Arrow Hunter doesn't really care because he has TP up as well and wanted to recall in the first place. So not a huge deal. And now let's look at Skarner items. Heartsteel's online.
Heartsteel at 13 minutes, baby. He's got free boots. That's a huge pickup, actually, on the Skarner, and especially with building something so expensive as his first item as Heartsteel is. I'm spitting everywhere. It is so intense. Oh, my goodness. I feel disgusting.
It is a very, very intense game. These 2 games have just been bloodfest, just absolute bloodbaths, you know. It's a party right now in this series, and we are
my
all
gosh.
for it. We're going to be popping the confetti.
And we're going to funnel money into Enchanting here as they will take 2 plates on the top. I don't know if Malphite knows where they're going.
This is a big lane swap right now, and Malphite's taking a lot of damage. I don't think he understands how fed. Oh, wow, actually a big ult secures the kill on Eerie, but right afterwards, Enchanting trades it out for a 1-for-1, and nobody's there to answer the wave. The top tower might get taken right now with all 3 plates remaining.
That was a really strong, honestly, a really strong play by the Malphite. He decided to go in. He was going to make use out of it. He took out those minions. The turret was fighting, or immediately went to target Eerie here. Oh my gosh.
Solo kill in the mid lane from Arrow Hunter, taking down that Victor with a flash Q. Gator going back to the base on that one, and back to the drawing board as well.
I don't know what to say at this point.
Not a good trade for him. I don't know why the Victor was just hovering the bottom bush of mid lane. He knows the Syndra can one-shot him at that point.
Enchanting and Arrow Hunter are so aggressive. Arrow Hunter doesn't need anybody with him, I guess. But Eerie is just here supporting Enchanting, and Enchanting is just able to capitalize so well out of it. They are working so well together as a team. Eerie is building Ardent Sensor here to just give Enchanting even more attack speed, even more ability to just move around the map while in the battle. It's going to be really hard for Wukong to hop on top of Enchanting. It's going to be really hard for to J-Phil to hit these bubbles from Nami. It's going to be really hard for Malphite to pin down. Really, I think if I am University of North Dakota right now, I am going to be looking for, once we get into the later stages, once we get into full team fights, I'm going to be looking for Malphite to come in with the rock and slow down Enchanting first. That way everybody can hop on Enchanting, but we'll see how that goes as we're going to pocket another Drake on the side of UW River Falls.
Yeah, good Drake setup right
now.
now.
Oh my
from
God,
River
they're
Falls.
so aggressive.
Eerie 1v2ing the enemy mid laner. Victor just absolutely decimated. Gator falling to the hands of the enemy bot lane, and honestly, a great macro play from River Falls. Did you see the amount of vision they had around Drake Pit prepping for that? Meanwhile, the mid lane was also taken by the enemy bot lane as well, because Enchanting and Eerie are just joined at the hip at this point. They're just not leaving each other's side, and they are so fed. 6-0 on this Kalista with Gunsos's Rage Blade, well as Blade of the Rune King. He is going to be she's going to be a menace in any team fight she participates in.
There are a lot of resources happening in almost every single one of these mini fights, because just in that fight, Enchanting popped ult immediately. Gator responded with their ultimate on Victor, and then Eerie popped that ultimate on, I believe, himself. In order to just kind of sustain, be the main tank while Enchanting is laying out damage.
Eerie might have to be careful here because Pat does have Malphite ultimate, so if he's able to Malphite ultimate them in the turret, this is going to be a lot of damage. This is exactly what I was talking about. Hextech Pistol comes through, lands. The Jinx player trying to pump out as much damage as possible. Double Root Galio actually pumps through and heals up his boys, and they are off to the races right now.
Look at that Malphite's HP.
Oh my heavens.
Look at that. He's alive.
Health. That is unbelievable. A great setup from Rift Herald, and I cannot believe they survived from that. They must have had the exact same read as we did with that Malphite all coming through on the bottom tier 2. And now, Rift Herald going in the way of River Falls with 6 grubs. I don't want to jinx it because I said this last game, but if you're North Dakota, you've got to be scared.
I know I would be if I'm laning against River Falls right now. If I see that Syndra, I'm running away. If I see that Kalista, I know, and right attached to that hip of that Kalista is a little guy, a little Yordle with a little staff, and they're going to turn me into a squirrel, and I'm just going to take a bunch of spears to my back as I'm trying to run away.
Somebody that we also got to give credit where credit is due on this Galio pick.
Absolutely.
Ravenhood. The ultimates, I understand that you can use the excuse where ultimates are very easy to use, but it's more of the placement on where you want to use them. You don't want to use them before major team fights, before objectives. You want to use them to bail your boys out or to engage hardcore onto a counter-engager such as Frigely. That is exactly what we're seeing from River Falls, understanding how to play their mechanics and characters perfectly. Meanwhile, as I'm complimenting the mechanics, Arrow Hunter gets solo killed by Gator. I think he just stepped forward a little bit too much, not understanding that Victor is now hitting a power spike, and this Syndra has to be careful. However, in the middle lane, we're seeing a great macro play from River Falls. The Rift Herald doesn't hit anything, but doesn't lose any health,
at least,
they're a little bit better for it. I wonder if anybody's going to try and take the ride here. They're going to spawn a lot of grubbies if they do. It's
Frigely's in there.
Taking a big turnaround here. Are they going to be able to jump onto him? The bubble is on cooldown. Nami did not have the stun up, and that is a unfortunate misplay from North Dakota. Unable to get the Skarner pick. And that's a tier 3 maybe? No, only
Just
at half
about,
health. But
almost.
still, a huge amount of damage going in the way of River Falls.
Goodness gracious, where do we put our attention to now? I wanted to see, I'm not sure from our spectator view that we have right now, I'm not sure if we can see the amount of stacks that Fridgley has on this Heartsteel, but it would be really unfortunate if we've gone 5 minutes so far with no Heartsteel stacks.
No,
I find that hard to
way.
believe.
He absolutely has.
I find that hard to believe.
He was able to gank into the mid lane onto, I believe it was the Victor player. He auto-attacked twice. He was able to auto Q auto, which that should give at least one Heartsteel. What's the cooldown on Heartsteel again?
There's a cooldown per enemy character. So when you go into the fight, it takes, I think, maybe 2 or 3 seconds for you to be able to proc Heartsteel. Heartsteel has to build up while you're in the vicinity of an enemy, and then you proc it with an auto.
Gator might be in trouble right now. The Blast Cone is not going to be able to
coming in
save him.
first.
There's just too much CC. He tried to make it to the Blast Cone, but was unable to bounce back to his boys. Oh, it was actually just a Cinder Q on the ground. It wasn't. Oh no, it wasn't.
Meanwhile,
Blast Cone, it popped. Meanwhile, Callista's just taking the bottom turret.
And the rest of the team is to follow. Wow.
We talked about the Grub synergy with the Rift Herald, but let's talk about Grubs in general. Just having those 6 Grubs.
6?
The prioritization around the
gosh.
top lane, and the Galio winning against the Malphite, giving Fridgley that needed space to obtain those 6 Grubs is why all of these turrets are taken and why not a single turret is taken on River Falls. And they're already on the tier 3 in the mid lane, the tier 2 in the bottom lane, and the top lane. And now they're looking for more. In case you don't know what Grubbies do, you are able to do a lot more true damage to the turret with every single auto attack, and I don't think it reduces the tower damage, but it does something else with the turret as well, not just the whoa. Okay,
Don't blink.
I'll stop. You know
Don't
what?
blink.
Arrow Hunter heard me ramble. He was like, "Check this out," and he did a cartwheel.
Yeah, right.
That was insane.
Exactly.
You were saying earlier. Don't underestimate the Syndra. If I'm looking at the Syndra, I'm turning the other way, and I think this is exactly why. Oh, this Victor might be in trouble. Gator, not understanding that River Falls has great turn potential, especially with the suppression
turning
from
off of the Otacon.
Skarner polymorph comes through from Eerie, and that is a dead mid laner on
They
the
can
side
take
of
that
North
Otacon
Dakota.
at any time they want.
Otacon does reset for the 2 members of North Dakota, but it might be too late. Another polymorph goes huge onto the Wukong. The monkey gets turned into a tiny little rabbit and gets speared up. We're cooking some good monkey brains tonight with enchanting on the spears. Spit roast that Wukong into the top lane, and Otacon is now taken for River Falls.
That was beautiful. I love it.
I thought you were going to cut me off there. With
No,
too
I
much
was.
of the
I didn't know
analogy,
you.
so
I didn't know you
was
had more in the tank.
I was like, should I continue with this? I was getting a weird look.
No, I just wanted to comment really quick on the Skarner and how we've seen Fridgley play Skarner this game, which has been super different than what we've seen in the last semester.
Not again.
The electrocute comes out, the ultimate comes out, and just enough to finish off the little fish.
The flash comes
Goodness
out.
gracious. So at 20 minutes, for River Falls, we had 2 Drakes in the pocket. We had 6 turrets, I believe. We had 2 Drakes. I said 2 Drakes already. We had a Rift Herald and 6 Grubs. This is typically unusual for River Falls. The Otacon was taken shortly after, but Fridgley, the reason that he hasn't been stacking as much on these Heartsteel stacks like we usually see, where Fridgley is usually initiating fights, they have been focusing the heck out of these objectives this game, and just out of this series in general. That's a 3rd Drake in 21.5 minutes. We've taken 3 Drakes, 6 turrets, 6 Grubs, which is all the Grubs, 1 Rift Herald, which I believe if you time it right, you can get 2 Rift Heralds, maybe. I'm not sure, since Grubs are a thing now, maybe there's only 1 Rift Herald. But with the Baron spawning, with Baron spawning at, what is it, 25 minutes here? Oh.
Arrow Hunter has to be careful. The Malphite ultimate is not up, but he does have that Q to slow and speed up, so could be in trouble in the mid lane. He can't quite one-shot the giant mountain that is Malphite, but he can absolutely try his best. But yeah, as you were saying, the prioritization on these objectives is a really nice change of pace instead of just trying to fight every single team. I mean, don't get me wrong, River Falls is still doing that as well.
It's 4 to
16. Yeah.
It's a 1 to 4
they're
ratio.
also very good at playing this macro where we won the team fight. Let's not bite off more than we can chew, and let's take this objective.
Yeah, maybe get 1 or 2 picks and secure it. I mean, they peeled off of Otacon so quick, but just to be able to secure that, and the ultimate comes out here by Victor and just kind of slows down, traps Fridgley here as he's trying to help his team out, but he can't quite get to where he needs to be. He's still got Otacon revive, so he's gonna get a little. Oh, I wish he could get a little bit of Heartsteel sacks out there. I would just be greeting for those right there. There's 4 really big circles that are waiting to be punched.
A triple suppression from Fridgley sadly lands no more kills, but 1 is kind of all you
enchanting.
need. Especially
Watch out.
It was on Caterwall, so now the enemy ADC is dead on the side of North Dakota, and now this Callista can just have free reign with the Lulu.
Oh
and
my
Galio
god!
on
Enchanting's
the top.
not done!
Enchanting taking up all those tower shots, but it doesn't matter with the Lulu ultimate assigned to them with the Galio shield. Another kill goes into the way of Arrow Hunter, one-shotting everybody onto the Syndra. Gator takes the kill onto Ravenhood as the Autocon buff has worn off. A Malphite ultimate lands onto the cockiness of Enchanting's forehead. The Autocon buff was already taken off that Kalista earlier.
Oh my god,
Syndra
Arrow Hunter's here.
One-shot. Arrow Hunter absolutely decimating the enemy ADC of Caterwall as he takes another one to the grave and another tick onto the kill board. Wow, lots of kills flying back and forth, but at the end of the day, it comes victorious for River Falls. And in case you're wondering why they were playing so cocky earlier, especially in the mid lane when it was just Syndra and just Skarner with Frigidly and Arrow Hunter, it was because they had Otacon buff. If you don't know what Otacon is, it's that objective in the top river or bottom river. It spawns depending on where there has been more action in the game. Now, Otacon buff, especially Voracious Otacon buff, is very special because what you do is you get a free Guardian Angel, which means when you die, your health goes down to 0. You don't die. You just spawn back into the base and you can run right back. It's not a perfect system, though. You don't want to give Otacons willy-nilly without at least trading 1 kill, because every Otacon kill is 200 gold to the enemy team, and you're not able to use your teleport immediately afterwards. You can't join the fight 1 second after you die. You have to walk all the way back in the lane. Still, though, like we said, it was worth it because they were still able to get 1 kill on Caterwall, nonetheless, in that mid lane team fight. And despite as impressive as Frigidly's 3-man skewer was, it really didn't net anything more than that.
Yeah, and I mean, that was Enchanting's first kill, and I was really, biting my teeth when they were taking that bottom turret and bottom inhib when Enchanting was rotating on the complete opposite side of the inhibitor. But then Enchanting turned, and she took out 1 unit, wasn't done there, went around all the way around the Nexus, came all the way back around. I'm like, at first I was fearing for Enchanting's life. Clearly that wasn't an issue, and clearly I've had, once again, a hand over my mouth as I'm supposed to be, stop talking. But I can't believe the amount of over-aggression that Enchanting has been able to apply and get away with. Just until that last, which, granted, half health going in, Malphite ult, it's kind of over from there, unfortunately, especially when Eerie is dead and not able to provide any shields. But, wow, that is, like, the aggression from Kalista is not going to stop. They've got 4 items, it looks like, ready to build up on that 5th. And the attack speed coming in from everything, on top of the Ardent Sensor coming from Lulu, too, is just a force to be reckoned with. And it's hard to catch and pinpoint, let alone pin down the Kalista that's just jumping everywhere. Looks like Malphite ult is up, though, so maybe they can pin Enchanting down again, but they might have to be a little bit careful here. It looks like second inhib is going to be taken on the side of River Falls, and that is the final turret that falls, and this inhib will shortly fall after. And River Falls is looking to endgame here. No objectives up for a couple of seconds here. It looks like Drake might be spawning up in about 40 seconds. But we are just looking to finish turrets here. Dakota is just sitting under their turrets and trying to maybe getting a little pokes, a little bit of jabs in here and there. There's a Malphite coming out. Ravenhood is going to protect his team, give him a little bit of a magic shield, and just they're going to pin him against the wall. Oh my goodness, it's a bloodbath here in the fountain. River Falls will not drop a single death, and an absolutely beautiful ending to Game 2. I'm excited to see. This has gone.
I know.
I mean, overall, I think we're seeing a lot of tempo and a lot of strength from River Falls. There was just an unfortunate couple of plays in that first game, and Dakota was able to, take it, run with it, and get one good play at the end, and then flip it the other way. River Falls was able to completely isolate, cut off all resources that they could have possibly taken, and they just took this game.
Absolutely. I couldn't have said it better myself. River Falls with a very dominant victory, and this is exactly what we wanted to see from them. Fixing their very minute mistakes that gave away last game, which was insanely close, by the way, and tying the series 1-1. Don't go anywhere because we have a Game 3 on the way. Actually, I think we could talk a little bit more right now about the.
We're gonna get cut off. That's
just
all right.
Kidding. We're gonna take.
I think Game 3 is pretty soon here. We'll take a. We'll see. Maybe this one will be more live than these other two, but we'll catch you in a break here with Game 3.
Stay tuned.
back. River Falls versus Dakota. We have got game 3 for you. It could go either way with this beautiful sunset. Not quite. I mean, it's pretty bright outside. But the sun is setting in real life, I should say, but not in terms of this game. In this match, we're on game 3. We're just about to see draft, hopefully. We've got a really interesting draft here for you. Hopefully a little bit different. We'll know in a second. Bear with us here. But I'm really excited. I'm down to see where this goes. Oh my gosh, they've taken his Lulu. Erie,
no!
What are you gonna do? J Phil's on Lulu. Spoiler alert. Spoiler. Don't look. J Phil's on this Lulu. Erie's gonna be on the Senna with an extra range. Enchanting has stolen the Mel, which is not like what we've seen today. Just purely AD champs on Enchanting. Now we're swapping over to Mel on AP.
So we're not only seeing role swaps, we're seeing pure lane swaps as well. Notice how Caterwall, the supposedly best top-ranked player for University of North Dakota, is now the Cassante in top lane.
That is going to be an interesting one. I love the Cassante. I love watching Cassante. He's got to be one of the,
a lot of Cassante.
One of the
Ravenhood
greatest
needs
additions.
To be very, very careful around this because Cassante will absolutely mess you up until level maybe 11 when Ravenhood actually has a little bit more tank, but even then it's going to be very, very dangerous. I think that if I'm looking at drafts, I think River Falls has a lot going for them, but they need to play perfectionately. Meanwhile, on the side of University of North Dakota, they have a little bit more room to wiggle because Pat on that Ziggs, it's a little bit more AoE. It's a little bit less of a carry champion and more of a utility champion. Meanwhile, Gator, we're seeing him now on the Yone.
You know, if I'm oh man, yeah, with the Yone on AD, I was gonna say if I'm River Falls, I'm just building magic resist here. But that might not be the site that we're seeing, as we've got a Ziggs building or going to be building for AP. We're going to have a little bit of a lane swap here. Yone's going to be on the top lane, so I guess Caterwall is not going to be playing top lane or ADC here. Caterwall is going to be playing mid lane. We're going to see how this matchup goes. And with Yone and Bessa, Malphite, Cassante, all these matchups, they can lane swap. They can go wherever they want to, really, after a time. Ravenhood, I think, going to be really strong in just holding his own, being able to. Obviously, both of these counterparts, whichever one he could be up against, has a lot of mobility, but he has a lot of, I guess, mobility for his enemies with that extra stone. Yeah. So, I mean, the Arcane Comet is going to be strong for him in poke in early game, at least being able to make his opponent be less aggressive towards him, hopefully. But I'm really interested to see how this Arrow Hunter Caterwall matchup plays, because we know Arrow Hunter, super aggressive. I have not seen him play Mbessa yet, and I am so down. I love when high skill character or high skill players play Mbessa. I've seen a lot of really interesting things come from this character, and especially with Arrow Hunter, I'm ready for it.
Yeah, a lot of people say that not Arrow Hunter, but rather Mbessa is the female version of Cassante, so it's very fun to see them in the same lane. And Caterwall going for another lane swap, hitting the mid lane instead, really throwing out River Falls out of whack. However, I think you kind of want to take this trade. I'm not entirely sure how well Ravenhood's going to fare against Yone, considering Yone is more of a stat checker champion. So he will be able to win some, lose some. It's all about knowing when your power spikes are for Ravenhood. I think that's what we need to keep an eye on for this Malphite. However, for Arrow Hunter, even though the health bars may not show it, especially with Electrocute Arrow Hunter and Electrocute Mbessa, supposedly Mbessa is actually supposed to win this lane. I'm not sure if you knew this. Again, coming from somebody who actually plays quite a bit of Cassante, Mbessa can be considered a counter champion. It is argued back and forth that no, Cassante actually scales better than Mbessa, but in terms of the early game, the strict laning phase, Arrow Hunter should be able to bully down Caterwall very well.
We're seeing it for sure. I mean, he's in and he's out. Arrow Hunter or I guess Mbessa rather, after every ability cast can dash, much like how Kalista was.
Last game.
Yep. So every time that Arrow Hunter is casting an ability, they can dash in. Mostly it's going to be in. I mean, Cassante can answer with a short little dash that'll give him a shield, and then a charged up dash that'll make him immovable, impenetrable.
This lane in the bot is absolutely bully central. Unfortunately, Pat and J-Phil, knowing these two characters, they just don't have enough early poke, despite what you saw from earlier, to outrange Enchanting and Eerie.
Exactly.
And Fridgley might be looking for a tower dive here. I don't know if I like it very much, though, because they did hit level 3 and pop the pots. There is not enough tick damage on these bottom laners to go for a gank. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Caterwall in trouble.
Grasp is putting in work for Caterwall here.
Absolutely. Notice Fridgley is actually in the Raptor pit. He dives into the mid lane. Tower
Oh my
shots
gosh.
are going to land. Caterwall is able to use the E to get a shield and get that mobility out. But at what cost? He is going to lose a lot of tempo now into the mid lane here.
Fridgley must have connected with a minion, unfortunately. But I'm really interested to see where he's going to go because, I mean, with the Cassante, it's going to be a really, really tough fight. With the bot lane, it's going to be a tough fight because of Ziggs' mobility and then the Eerie shield. And then it's going to be a tough fight for Yone, unless you can pin him down.
I was just talking about this bot lane, and we were talking about runes, and I totally neglected to bring up that Eerie is running Senna Grasp.
You know, Senna, I don't know where Senna is these days. I mean, when Riot released her, how many years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, she was supposed to be a support. I mean, Eerie's at least playing her support, let alone whatever they're going to be playing. Senna builds lethality. For whatever reason, mainly going to be building lethality, maybe one support item that gives them a little bit of extra heal shield potential.
Ooh, Pat needs to be careful here.
I just don't know what we're going to do here. But Caterwall is rotating up, maybe going to bully Ravenhood a little bit here. Raven Hunter, or Raven, oh my goodness.
Raven Hunter.
Raven Hunter. I don't know which one is which at this point. I mean, maybe Arrow Hunter after a recall here. He's got a pickaxe. Maybe another recall here is going to put him up on the top lane. Maybe they're going to swap. Who knows?
Arrow Hunter and Ravenhood did the fusion dance.
They are. I mean,
Raven Hunter.
They're playing such similar characters in my mind, which is really not true.
I think it was definitely the lane swap that came through. You see Cassante in the top lane. You're like, oh, he's got to be up against Invesso,
for
right?
sure. Yeah.
Ravenhood, understanding this matchup, actually hits level 6 first because of the incredible zoning that Arrow Hunter was able to push onto this Cassante. He should be able to hit level 6 after this next wave. But
there
Ravenhood, he is running low on mana. He's got to be very careful here. He could ult and do a lot of tick damage without the Cassante ultimate. He is not going to be susceptible to a flash ultimate quite yet. Ravenhood needs to be careful, though. Once this cannon experience goes into the way of Cassante, he should be able to hit level 6.
Ravenhood is going to have to be positioning himself a lot, especially when Cassante pulls out that movement on the 3rd Q. But I'm interested to see how long this matchup will go for if they do decide to do a lane swap on River Falls to answer that lane swap. And, we might get an early pick here in the jungle.
They did not have a ward in the little bush that Eerie was sitting in, and Eerie there to support his boy. First blood goes over to the Amumu.
That's a crazy move.
That was a really good invade. Taking the Gromp as well as the life of your enemy jungler, you'll take that 100% of the time. It is worth the tempo that you're dropping in the bottom lane because of the sheer dominance that Enchanting is bringing to the table with this Mel carry.
Fridgley here.
Grabs onto a minion. The bandage toss does not land onto the Gator. However, the Gator's jaws are now clamped shut.
Ravenhood is going to be fighting a little bit here under his turret. Oh my gosh!
Enchanting
I
throws the
love
satchel
it.
back. Oh no. A mishap for Pat. And now Enchanting is absolutely just 1v2ing. Eerie can kind of run around and do whatever he wants now. It looks like he's going to be rejoining the bottom lane. Enchanting does hit level 6. If they bring him down low enough, Enchanting has a global ultimate and is able to do a ton of damage, similar to how Karthus is, as long as he's able to land an ability. There, do you see that little passive above their names? That is the damage dealer that can be done for Enchanting. We're going to have to see how that pans out.
I love
this. And
yes,
if we look close enough to the Senna items, do you want to walk me through what he's building right now?
I love pickaxe. I love pickaxe. I don't know. I'm guessing he's going to be building Eclipse so that once he gets into the fray, he does a little bit of damage here and there, gains a shield, lets him live a little bit longer while healing his allies, doing some CC to his enemies. And I don't know. This could really go anywhere.
Arrow Hunter showing exactly why Mbessa is equally as much of a stat checker as much as Yone is.
Here we
Gator
go.
Paying for it right now with the
Ravenhood's looking for something. He wants him under the turret. He's almost taking the turret shot there, but he's going to pump in with that ultimate from Malphite. I'll let you take it away, James.
Oh, yeah, Caterwall with a great unstoppable. Unfortunately, Fridgley has a double bandage toss, which is able to double stun the Cassante. Coming out of his W, he does try to use the ultimate to get away, going all out onto the Amumu player. However, the Amumu E is able to stick around and deal tick damage even while Cassante is in that ultimate animation. So a great kill going for the top lane. Looks like North Dakota is going to try and answer it in the mid lane. They do. A kill goes for the count. And now the Mbessa falls finally after a grueling amount of damage done to the Yone. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane,
the
another
stun just goes wide.
But J-Phil gets the kill on Eerie.
the
And now
ultimate,
another kill goes back to the mill. That is the ultimate that I was talking about. You get him low enough health and it's basically just a Karthus ult. That is unbelievable. We are seeing action in all 3 lanes, and River Falls, honestly, you're still better for it. Even the mid lane trade, that is a fine death from Arrow Hunter. He gets vision on the jungler. He gets a lot of like a big trade onto Gator, so that Gator does have to end up popping the back here, as we see, and so that Mbessa does not lose any tempo.
Ravenhood is winning this exchange. Caterwall is trying to lay into him. Ravenhood is just being a rock. I mean, if I'm Caterwall here, I've got 2 Negatron cloaks. I'm just building magic resist, which is great against Malphite. He's going to do a lot of magic resist, or magic damage. He's not going to do a lot of damage with those 2 items.
The knockup does come through, though. Caterwall does have a lot of abilities at his goodness. The flash end up does have to come through. That stinks. It's going to be a tower dive right now. A flash from Caterwall into the auto attack queue. A big misread from Ravenhood.
Diana is there.
He does not understand this matchup, and Mbessa is going to go and try and catch this wave to make sure that River Falls does not lose too much tempo.
Oh, Arrow Hunter, be careful, buddy.
He's going to try and go for the Caterwall. Maybe public
There's the ultimate.
Goes huge. Big stun lands onto Caterwall. He goes unstoppable. Make sure that no CC is going to be applied to this K'Sante, but it doesn't matter because he's going to be able to deal enough damage with those chains landing onto the forehead of Caterwall. The Scorpion of the team is now decimating the top lane, taking 2 bodies for his trouble, and that is a worthwhile trade for River Falls.
And they're going to grab the, what is that? The Void Grubs are still up, and Enchanting is here. Enchanting is living. Beautiful defensive ult here by Eerie. Gotta love it. Little bit of a pat on the shoulder by Enchanting, letting him know that yes, the support may be gone, but not forgotten. Wow, beautiful.
One heck of a play onto the top lane. They actually played that very, very well. The flash from Caterwall, flash Q autoing onto Ravenhood. I don't think he was ready for that combination. This is a very common one from K'Sante players. However, Arrow Hunter, they're underestimating how strong this Mbessa can be. This is exactly what I was talking about. Caterwall wants to make sure that all of the immobile champions are being slowed and abducted by him. He is the huge man with the huge pillars that is going to smack your tiny little cheeks into the bottom lane. However, Mbessa is going to be able to dodge around all of that, making sure that Caterwall does not land the reset onto his Q. Gator losing the ultimate.
Defensive ult to get away from the Nautilus pulling into the lane.
Yeah, in order to get away from Ravenhood. Really well done, honestly, from Gator. That was a really good use of the ult to get out a defensive, or rather escape, using the maneuverability from his ultimate, as the Q3 was not up. However, that secures Drake for the side of River Falls.
For Ravenhood there.
Yeah, they were not able to contest the Drake or even get vision in the river because Ravenhood rotated bottom. Meanwhile, Caterwall is going to be getting top plates here.
Oh,
they
big
do
stun.
lose a lot of tempo in the top lane right now.
That range is insane on this bot lane. If you're Ziggs under this turret here, you've got a bomb that you can throw out every once in a while in a satchel, but that doesn't quite go anywhere. And you're just going to be pummeled by this long-range Senna and these long-range Mel abilities.
So this is what I was talking about. Caterwall actually has a lot of tempo right now in the top lane, so he's able to proxy like this against Ravenhood. Ravenhood can't really do anything about that because he's gotten so many plates. However, that does not take away from Ravenhood's really well-done rotation down mid. He didn't really help with the Drake, but he deterred the enemy mid laner enough. And there goes the Mel ultimate to land another execute on
Ravenhood could turn this. Ravenhood could turn this fight. He's got ultimate, and that K'Sante is low and almost out of options here.
He does. However, Ravenhood is also low, and Caterwall has the all-out. He does go all-out. All of the abilities, including the Q, is now off of cooldown. Caterwall able to pump out a lot of damage. Ravenhood has to use the ultimate defensively to go back into his turret.
Honestly,
Flash
really good relay.
is not up for Caterwall, but Ravenhood still has to be very careful right now. One Q auto is going to be able to kill him. Oh my goodness,
Careful,
he brought
buddy.
down to almost no health. Is he going to try and redive, or is he just going to proxy? Caterwall is out of mana. He's not building tier, so he does not have a lot of mana regeneration right now. Ravenhood could turn this around.
He's calling in Arrow Hunters here.
He smells blood in the water, and here comes the public execution. Goes unstoppable. Caterwall is defenseless in the face of this Mbessa. 3-1 for the mid laner on River Falls.
And we're going to get another answer, not by Dakota here, but River Falls is going to be ganking on this Yone on mid lane.
What is happening right now? They try and answer back with the Mbessa in the top lane for some tempo and maybe some plates in the mid lane, but River Falls is too smart for that. They took the bottom turret. They're rotating their bot lane into the mid to cover this wave. Incredible macro we're seeing right now from River Falls. We love seeing this from them.
This is exactly what we were talking about, what we needed to see and what we saw in the later halves, or like middle season last season.
Yes.
I was talking a lot about this last week. River Falls was not seeming to play with a lot of communication last week, a lot of team togetherness, you know, and just what is it? Like a communicated attack.
Yes.
Yeah. And now they're not aggressing. They might be losing a fight here and there, or maybe losing an ally here or there, but they're not trying to just flip and do and take everything back away from their enemies. They are doing a slow, methodical approach, and regardless of how slow and methodical that is, they are rapidly taking resources away from Dakota State.
I will give it to Caterwall. He is building Merc Treads and a lot of magical defense because that's primarily what River Falls is going to run. But as you mentioned earlier, you really can't count Erie out on this Senna. He's going to be dealing a little bit of AD as well as Mbessa with that AD. Why do you think he was able to shred him
I think that's
much
Black
in
Clover.
the top lane? I think if you underestimate this Eclipse Mbessa, and you only build magical defense, not a single physical defense item. I'm not sure why he's not going for, oh my goodness. Good ultimate from Ravenhood, the knockback from the Q3 and the Unstoppable
into the turret?
tower.
Oh my god, an
all-out
ultimate
from
into the
Caterwall.
turret.
Clearly very experienced in this matchup. Caterwall brings Ravenhood back
gets
down
out with his
to
life.
1 HP, a double flash, count on count, trying to get out from Ravenhood, or Arrow Hunter rather, but Arrow Hunter secures that kill as well, and another kill goes in the way of Erie, using his ultimate to try and give himself a shield, but the Ziggs ult catches him right on the pinnacle of it. Enchanting, rooting up the enemy Ziggs player, but to no avail. Another kill does not go back in the way of River Falls, and it's going to be an even trade for both sides.
Really close. Ravenhood is back.
He does teleport back. Caterwall does not have ultimate, and he knows this. Goes unstoppable, pushes back and stuns Ravenhood. Q3 is up, knocks him back, trying to go into the jungle for a little bit of cover.
You can't run away from this Malphite.
Q1 to slow down the Malphite. However, the Malphite is going to get his own set of movement speed from his own Q, and there it is.
Oh, Fridgley!
But the bandage toss from Fridgley steals the kill, and Ravenhood is definitely going to get a mouthful from that. He is telling his jungler, you know what? You got Leandries, I got my Sunfire. Who's more important here? Who's more important? Who should we give the gold to? Fine. I'll give it to you.
I
think that was gifted. I think it was gifted. Arrow Hunter kind of in no man's land, just going to take a few tower shots, but Erie, you know, and Enchanting are there to cover his
Beautiful turret takes. Beautiful objective takes here by River Falls. They've got 6 Void Grubs here, and they're about to get their Rift Herald. And they are, I mean, we're looking almost exactly how we were in stats last game. At 16.5 minutes here.
Don't forget that this was also how Game 1 was set up, and the team fights late game were unfortunately just handled a lot better from the University of North Dakota, so we have to see if River Falls is able to recreate game number 2 or if they're going to blunder exactly like we saw in game number 1. So it's a little too early to tell. However, we will compliment their early game macro is very, very well done. They're able to cover lanes. They're not missing any waves. They're able to play around the objectives beautifully. And what we criticized them last semester is what we're seeing one of their best traits this semester, and that's vision control. Especially around things such as the Drake, things as the Baron, and even just the enemy jungle.
Oh my god! Why did he get away with that?
I don't know if Caterwall just wanted tempo or
Cassante.
what, but Cassante did rush.
Cassante
Whoa! An ultimate coming through from Enchanting. Takes down the enemy Ziggs player, and now it's going to be a mid lane rush. Gator jumping onto Erie, trying to do something. The ultimate comes through from the Yone, knocking up Erie. However, it's going to be not enough, actually, as he gets away with a kill. Enchanting using the flash over the wall to flex the Q3, knocking up the Yone. And Gator, if the ultimate was available from Mel, would be in trouble. The Cavalry is here to back up his boy, Fridgley, taking the enemy chickens, but Caterwall is now covering the lane, and it's going to be a stalemate. Bandage toss does go wide, doesn't land anything. Ravenhood here to match the Caterwall with the Cassante player. I wonder if he's going to try and cancel. He doesn't cancel Fridgley. Arrow Hunter is still looking around. He actually can 1v1 right now. Caterwall, he does a lot of damage, especially with the Eclipse. Caterwall does not have any defensive items against Arrow Hunter.
That is, Caterwall's got 4 big components here on the defense. We've got a lot of health, we've got a lot of magic resist, but no physical armor. And those Merc Treads are also going to be in the way of magic resist. So, I mean, this really just takes away damage that Enchanting could do, takes away damage that Ravenhood could do. Ravenhood's got Sunfire, though. He's
not trying to do a lot of damage, really.
Yeah, he's just got a lot of damage over time type things here. And Erie, oh my god, Ravenhood over the wall. He does not see that coming. And Caterwall trying to fight for his life, maybe pick somebody out. Erie's got the defensive ultimate here, and Ravenhood will throw a rock onto the turret. Caterwall will get out with a very well-placed ultimate.
The Black Cleaver sadly put in a little bit more health than damage right now. I think Erie was trying to secure that kill with the global ultimate going over the wall, but a really good kidnap and a showcase of Caterwall, how comfortable he is on this Cassante with the movement. However, River Falls gearing up to take this tier 2 tower. It may be a positive play for them in the end.
A lot of I believe Enchanting and Erie have been present for 3 out of the 4 turrets taken, 4 out of the 5 turrets taken on the side of River Falls, because they missed, I believe, just top tier 1. But they were there when the mid towers fell. They were there when the bot tower fell. That's not what I meant. But Arrow Hunter is fighting here. Gator is under his turret. He's got his own defenses.
I was there. I remember. Really stunning stuff we're seeing from River Falls. Honestly, both teams, we got to give it to University of North Dakota. They are playing the best they can. I really want to highlight that combo in the mid lane. You can chalk it up to a blunder from River Falls, just playing a little too aggressively with a little too much ego in the mid lane there from Enchanting and Eerie that ended up killing and taking Eerie's life. It was another kill going over to the Yone, which is somebody you don't really want gold on. However, it was still a really, you know, you can say it was a bad play from one team or a good play from the other. The point is it happened.
And River Falls got here.
River Falls is very much still in the lead,
no.
though, is the main thing that I want to highlight right now. Despite these small blunders in the mid lane, they are able to make up for it in fold with their macro. And this is exactly what we're seeing right now. Oh, the entire enemy team is showing mid and bot. Let's just go Otacon. It's in the top lane.
The second Voracious Otacon, which is what they will get free revives for after first death for a limited time. Frigidly was there, immediately crying on the Otacon the second it spawned. I'm not even joking. That is just perfect timing, and they are ready. And Frigidly's feeling really empowered here in this jungle.
Oh, he's feeling really happy on this character, but even though the character's feeling really sad like I did on prom night. Meanwhile, Gator in the bottom lane trying to claim an objective bounty for himself. Arrow Hunter trying to defend it. I wonder if he's going to try and use the public execution onto Gator. No, he's not. He's just going to try and clear the minions first. This is actually going to be a 1v2. I don't know if Arrow Hunter wins this. Bork is live on the side of the enemy Yone. The public execution does come through, lands onto Gator.
He's got it.
Does do a lot of damage, and that's the Eclipse proc we were talking about.
The shield
comes through to give a shield through Arrow Hunter, and the last remaining Q lands onto the forehead of the Count Diana. Double kill in the bottom lane and a 1v2 for Arrow Hunter.
River Falls is looking so good right now, and Enchanting is 7-0, 700 gold bounty. Arrow Hunter on this Ambessa is a 7-1 with a $450 bounty. And Frigidly hasn't died yet. He just kind of shows up, takes a kill, steals a kill, takes an assist.
We're not going to let that
350 gold on his head as well.
Bandage toss into the Mummies. I'm not exactly sure what the ultimate is called, but the Mummies R ability is going to shut down Pat, and that is the enemy ADC. There's not going to be a lot of wave clear now on the side of North Dakota. Another kill goes in the way of River Falls as J-Phil dies as well. And remember, River Falls still has Otacon. They can just kind of tower dive as their whim. As long as they get one kill, it's still going to be worth it. They already have 2. They're going to go for broke here. Oh my goodness, Gavin, the Yone lands right onto Enchanting, but he gets rooted immediately from Eerie, and Ravenhood is there to cover his boy as well. I'm not sure if they had the read correctly here for the side of North Dakota.
North Dakota's
a really good unstoppable from the Cassante. However, he gets shut down by Enchanting. Enchanting is just too far ahead. She has too many items. Leandre burning at the hearts of all North Dakota fans.
If I am Eerie right now on this Senna, I am bathing in souls. I have so much extra attack damage. I have so much extra attack range. I'm goosing for some extra attack range here. Maybe even enough attack range to shoot a turret outside of the turret's range. Almost. We might be there.
Must be pretty close.
We're about 23 minutes.
To, like, Tristana passive.
He's been there. He's been there when these objectives are here, which each objective, main objective, gives him 2 extra souls. That's a lot for free, almost. And if he's there around when the Gromp is taken or blue buff is taken or red buff is taken, there's an extra soul there for him as well. And he is loaded. He's eating well.
Yeah, Cloud Drake was taken for River Falls. That is soul point now for the red side team. Let's see if North Dakota can make it back out. Are they going to be able to claw their way out of the situation? Or is it simply a hole that was dug too deep? A root comes through.
The range is simply too far.
A good shield comes through from J-Phil. He uses that Lulu shield. Now Eerie may be in trouble trying to get one shot.
But a double knockup
from Ravenhood with an ultimate combo into Eerie. And it is just a slaughter. A huge bloodbath going in the way. The kill feed blows up. Frigidly does fall into the end to Pat. However, the damage has been done. A flash Q from Enchanting.
That turret's almost dead.
Tower shot. Gator trying to 1v1 Ravenhood, just staying stationary as that huge rock. A big crit may come through and kill Ravenhood. However, he's trying to get away. A flash goes through, but then the kill lands on Yone. Takes his meat, and he's ready to cook with it, bringing the meat back. to the tribe of the, I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. He's bringing it back to the tribe at the Nexus. It's going to be a 2v2 right now. This is absolute caveman fisticuffs, big clubs getting swung all over the place. And in the end, River Falls is beneficial for it.
I couldn't have said any of that better.
You can't tell I have a migraine. I'm getting a headache from all this shouting. What great league, though. I can't get over that. Like both teams, like just the skirmishes, it's so entertaining to watch. And I got to know your opinion on this. That was like the forbidden jitsu from the Mal fight right there. The double knock-up just into just punching the Yone.
That was
with
crazy.
Like the Yone has infinite life steal. He's like, yeah, I can take him out.
He would have gotten away with it too, but when Yone recalls out of his soul form, his W there, he does extra damage, just like similar to Zed's passive as well. So when he recalled, that was just enough to finish him off. He also got the shield from his W, and then the shield bow is going to be able to give him a little bit more of an edge onto the Mal fight. However, it
was
up.
Hilarious to look at on the last count. Blast cones in. I don't know if he hit that or if it was one of his teammates trying to throw the game. They just want it to be over. Caterwall, another double knockup coming from Ravenhood, takes out 2 of the members of North Dakota. The Lulu and Ziggs are now off the board. A huge knockup from Gator with a triple ultimate, but it's not going to be enough as River Falls is running away with the game.
How did they flipped? I saw red side on the right and blue side on the left, and then all of a sudden blue side was like in the middle, and then red was all around them, like in a semicircle, and they all collapsed and fell. It was a beautiful pincer, a beautiful display.
An early GG from Caterwall. He knows that this one is set. They're going to take these turrets very, very quickly, and the Nexus is next. After the first game, we were worried that River Falls was looking a little bit shaken. We thought that North Dakota was going to drive right past them, but here we go. Little did that North Dakota know that River Falls put up a no passing zone as they take the series 2-1.
Really incredible games here. All 3 games beautifully played by River Falls. Despite dropping the first game, they reversed that out and took that for their own. They said, this is ours. We came to play. We played a damn good match, and we're leaving pretty good. We're feeling pretty good about this one.
Absolutely. There's not much more to say other than really big congrats to River Falls. They needed this win. It was a very hard-fought victory, 2-1. North Dakota played your hearts out, but sadly it wasn't enough for the Kings. You're going to hit them, you got to kill them. And the 2-1 scoreline shows that they do not have it in them to take down the monster that is River Falls.
Absolutely. And as we see this team get better every single week, we'll be here every single week here on UWRF Esports with more games, more casting, and catch us on our other streams throughout the week with other games. League of Legends is, of course, on Tuesdays.
Absolutely.
And we'll see you next time.
Yeah, tomorrow I believe we have a Valorant game, and on Thursday we have Overwatch at 6 p.m. and a Rainbow Six Siege match at 7 p.m., so stay tuned for that. Otherwise, League of Legends is going to be every Tuesday. Hopefully you will be joined by myself and the wonderful Gavin. Thank you so much for casting with me
Always
tonight.
a pleasure casting, James.
Absolutely. And we will see you next time. Have a good night.